Alfredo Beginner, Level 1, pages 100 and 101, we'll be talking about Singing in the Rain. Let's take a quick listen to this one, and then we'll talk about the details. Okay, now, a couple things with this piece. The left hand is driving the melody here, so as we're playing this, that has to stay constant throughout the piece. Where in the key of G, you've got your F sharps in there, and those are going to come into play in the left hand. So when you get down into the second bar, as we shift over to this, from here to this, now we're doing F sharps and A's. Okay? Now you'll notice that left hand is kind of going back and forth between G, I'm starting at the beginning, G, D, and it keeps going back to B, right? So that's a G chord, it's just a second inversion of a G chord. If you're not focused on that, a lot of times people get stuck and they'll be like this and start doing stuff like this, not going back and forth. So really focus on making sure that you're going back and forth, otherwise you're going to be making mistakes. Now, a couple things about this piece that make it a little bit challenging is that the right hand changes up its rhythm structure a little bit. And what I mean by that is, as we're playing along, things are fitting in some places, and now they just change on where these notes come in on the beat, because we're kind of repeating a lot. So, now you can see right there, I started in between the beat. Just at the very beginning, I was on a syncopated or the weak beat. So, and then we play together. And then again, that was syncopated, it was on the weak beat. Here again. And again coming up. And again coming up. So this is a very, this can be challenging. Then we play together, and then not. So it's got a lot of little funny things that you have to focus on where these notes are starting exactly. Now, if you have a really attention to detail instructor that's making sure you do everything exact, this can give you a lot of trouble. So make sure you double check, triple check where your melody is coming in with your left hand. So do these in small parts and make sure everything is perfect. I think we covered pretty much the first page of what's going on, and it continues into the second page, but it's basically the same stuff. So we're just repeating. You just have to make sure on what beats you're coming in. Now I want to go over the third bar on page 101. The previous bars are kind of repeating, but then we get over here and we're doing this. And then here comes this part. Well, that's an octave. So some people with a smaller hand, you could have an issue with this. So when you get there, let's say your hand doesn't quite reach the octave, maybe it reaches the seventh. So as you're getting there, stretch as far as you can, hit the previous note, and then just bounce over, like actually move your hand over. And then at the very end, hold, and keep that down even while you hit the D following, and then pedal, and then we finish. So you notice here, it says we're holding here, you get your pedal down, so that's going to hold those notes. You can move your second finger over to the sharp, and finish. Alright. Hopefully that covers the main points of this. There really isn't any pedal until the end, so just remember that. You should be keeping a pretty steady beat here and holding these. You can basically play these not staccato, but kind of bouncy. Okay? The right hand is where we want to play legato. And try to swing. Oh, that's one more thing. You need to swing your eighth note. So. Now, that's one thing I want to talk about before we finish. I didn't mention this. So let's go to the first bar. If you look, we're actually starting. Now, it looked like right there I should be going long, short, and so forth. But actually, because that first part is a tie, it's short, long, short, long for those. So that can be confusing for a lot of people too, because in that group of eighth notes, there's 4 eighth notes. The first one's long, second one's short, long, short. So it's actually short, long, short, and then when you get to rain in the lyric, we hold that one obviously, so that's a long. So short, long, short, long. Short, long, short, long. That was the only thing I wanted to mention, sorry. Everything else, you should be good. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time when we do Laura on page 102.